Okay, there we go. Now my mic's on. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to more art streams. We do have a little bit of a different setup today because we're doing a traditional stream, and I'm using a different mic because my usual mic does not reach over to this end of my desk. So let me know if the audio is good enough, but this is basically what I have to do with this other mic. So you know, bear with me is all I'm saying. Bear with me. But yeah, so today we are going to be making physical art. Isn't that crazy? Physical art. And specifically, we're going to be making some TCG Roses. Actually, let me grab one. Let me grab an example here. So, this is one of the ones I made for myself. This is a little Galarian Ponyta rose made with psychic and fairy energies, and then of course, Galarian Ponyta cards. But this is what we're going to be making today. I'm going to be making these for my markets that I have this week, which I actually have two of them. I have one tomorrow and one on Saturday. And one of them is going to be actually at a TCG card shop. So it makes sense to make more TCG products, right? So that's basically what we're going to be doing here today. And we're not going to be just making Pokemon ones. We're going to be making mini and large ones. But I already prepped some stuff here, but we're going to have, One Piece. We are going to have Star Wars. We're going to have Pokemon. We're going to have Lorcana, which I think I actually want to start with the Lorcana, aka Disney ones. You can see I already have like the leaves all cut out here. But yeah, this is all the pieces for the rose all cut out. I just have to glue them all together. That's kind of what we're going to be doing here. Which actually, to do that, I should turn on my glue gun, huh? I have a rechargeable glue gun, which means that it is cordless, which is very convenient. You can see this is the same glue gun that I have on my overlay, actually. But it's cordless, which means it does need to charge up in between uses, which really isn't that much a problem. It just has to like warm up to temperature and then we can, get everything going. But what I am going to start off with, so we're going to take all of our rose pieces here. I'm going to lay them all out, which is going to be a little bit off camera, but you guys all just have to trust me that all the pieces are being laid out up here. And one thing I have to do to get all of the pieces in shape after they're all cut out, which I cut these out before stream, mainly because cutting these all out hurts my hands a lot. There's something about like the pressure points of these scissors that I use. It, like right there, it just like after a while really hurts my like knuckles. So I kind of do these roses in like small, like incremental batches instead of like all at once to not hurt my hands. Especially when it comes to the glue gun, because the glue gun is hot, and sometimes that hot glue goes right on my fingers and does not feel super, super great. So every part of the art process is pain, is basically what I'm saying. It's all pain, it all sucks, but it's awesome, and I love art. But, so while we wait for the glue gun to heat up, we're gonna curl these pieces into the shape they need to be, because if they're flat like this, there's no, like, dimension, right? Like that doesn't look good. It's flat, it's boring. So we gotta curl these pieces. And I'm going to have the characters be on the outside of the rose, just like they are on this one, so they're more visible than on the inside. So I have this big old thick, awesome paintbrush that I have used for painting, but honestly, I more so use it for this purpose, which is I take each petal and I just curl it around the thickness of the brush so that I can get its shape, just like that. And then we have a nice little flower petal shape. So yeah, my very expensive watercolor brush is more so used as a curling tool than anything else, but you know, maybe one day we'll do a watercolor stream, you know? I think that'd be nice. I've done watercolor paints before, but never on stream. Never on stream. I do want to learn watercolor more. I took a watercolor class. Watercolor is not an easy medium to learn. You would think it would be easy because, you know, it's a medium that like a lot of children gravitate to. It's, you know, considered more of an entry-level medium for a lot of people. It's really hard. It's like watercolor, not easy. I spent a lot of time kind of breaking down how I do my artwork, because my artwork is usually very detail oriented, very clean line work, and watercolor does not allow for that kind of stuff. It's more of a, it's gonna be ugly until it's done, and then when it's done, it looks great. But until then, it's gonna be a little messy, a little ugly. And my brain doesn't like that. My brain says that is bad. And that, therefore, watercolor as a medium is not easy for someone like me to master. But I want to continue with it. I really do. Like, I want to get better. I want to be versatile when it comes to my artwork. That's like a big thing that I very much want. So, I mean, eventually I want to learn oil paints, I want to learn acrylic paint, like watercolors, pastels, like whatever. I want to learn it all. Because the more versatile you are, the better your art is. That's what I think. I mean, there are plenty of artists that are very, very good at what they do and they only do one medium, and that's fine. But personally, I get bored doing the same thing over and over again. So, that's why I do a lot of different kinds of stuff. Like what we're doing here. We're making sculpture, basically. That's what this is. This is a found objects sculpture. It's basically what we're doing here. Which I think is awesome. I like making stuff. And you know, I've made a lot more out of the TCG bulk cards, which, by the way, if you're concerned, these are bulk cards. They do not cost anything. These are like a penny each, which is why I'm turning them into something different and new and creative. So yeah, don't worry about me cutting up cards. They are literally worthless, but I like giving new life to things. I like being able to take something that, you know, a lot of collectors would be like, ah, nope, that's a trash card, and throws it in their bulk bin, and turning it into something new and different. And something a little more beautiful. And sometimes useful. You know, the roses themselves are more of a decoration item, but I do make other things that actually do have function. Like I've made card stands. I made a stand for my ponyta necklace, a little jewelry stand. So, you know, there are ways that you can have function and art. TCG ice cream cones. Yeah, you know what? It kind of does look like that, huh? Like with rolling them up like that. Put some ice cream in there. Welcome in, though, Brenham MC. Welcome. Yeah, we are making not ice cream cones, even though they look like ice cream cones. They are roses. TCG Roses, which, for those of you who didn't see at the beginning of the stream, this is basically what we are aiming for. This rose shape is what it's gonna look like at the end. But, except instead of Pokemon cards, we're using Lorcana for this one. So, same idea, different TCG. Okay, finally our glue gun is starting to warm up, but I'm gonna finish curling all the rest of these cards first. And we will eventually start gluing these together. Eventually. Each of these roses usually takes me about an hour to make each, which you would think, I don't know. I guess some people would think they'd be faster, some people would think it'd be slower. But, as you can see, each petal I have to curve into place. I have to, you know, I didn't even do this on stream, but I have to cut each one. I have to curl them all. Like, it's a lot more work than some people would think. And maybe less work than others would think. But, I guess it depends on the person. Does Lorcana have types like that? Oh, see, okay. I don't know much about Lorcana itself, so I am a Pokemon card collector, which is what started my business, is I collect a lot of Pokemon cards, and I had way too many cards, so I started making things with them. When it comes to the other TCGs, which I am going to be showcasing multiple different TCGs today. Star Wars Unlimited, One Piece, obviously, again, Lorcana. Though they will not be showcased today, I do have also Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! And some other sets, DC cards. I don't really know how the other TCGs work. A lot of my cards that are not Pokemon cards are either cards that I specifically went to a card shop to buy, like the Star Wars cards. I was like, yeah, I want to work with some Star Wars cards. So I specifically bought some bulk of that. The Lorcana cards and some of my other cards, though, are donations from other people that I'm friends with that just like collecting cards. That they're just like, hey, these are basically useless to me. Here you go. You can have them. Make something with it. But I would assume Lorcana has some kind of system, not exactly like the energies, but something, because like each of the cards, right, they're like color-coded, like yellow and green, red, and gray. They have some kind of thing, and then they have like these numbers on them too. I don't know. I've never played the Lorcana game myself. I barely play the TCG when it comes to Pokemon. I'm more of a collector than a player. Like, I'll play a little bit. I'm not competitive in any sense of the form. My love for the card games more so comes with the art that's on the cards themselves. Less so the actual game. Which, you know, some people might think is a sin to have this many Pokemon cards and not competitively play, but hey, there's many, many ways to get into the collecting hobby of Pokemon. And I don't think there's any wrong way, except for people that don't actually love the card game at all, and they just want to take advantage of the hype of the game and scalp all the product. That's the only people that I don't like. It's like, if you're gonna resell some stuff, make some money, like, I'm not gonna judge you for that. Like, if you're just like a collector and you're like, I'm gonna sell this box to make money to buy one of my Grail cards, then it's like, okay, yeah, sure. That's fine. If you don't even know who Pikachu is, and you're coming into the hobby just to make money and nothing else, then it's like, okay, you're a problem. you're a little bit of a problem. Which, we are kind of in that era right now of not just Pokemon cards, but like sports cards and like everything. It's like people just want to make money. It's like, I get it. Money's awesome. We love monies. Monies buys things. But at the same time, it's like, at least show a little love for the community and the hobby and not just the money aspect. But, again, to each their own, I guess. It is not my place to judge other people's, space in the hobby, I guess. I just don't interact with scalpers. It's like, all of the cards that I ever buy, because, like, I rip cards myself. I have, like, you know, sealed packs that I open on stream, on my alt account at GameLobby1337. If anybody is interested, that is my gaming account. This is my art account. But I open cards on stream just for myself, and I try to pull chase cards, and I'll trade cards, and you know, I have a pretty decent collection. I'm just here for the love of the game, man. I love the pretty cardboard. I love when it's sparkly cardboard. I love the art. That's why I'm here. I love the art. Pikachu, that's the white dragon with blue eyes. Yeah. That's it. That's the one. That's the one. That's why it's called Pikachu, because it peeks at you with those bright blue eyes. Exactly. I feel like there's one Pokemon that everybody knows, right? Which is Pikachu. And then it's like, I'd say like most people know Charizard. Most people would probably know Eevee. Maybe Mewtwo. Maybe. Right? Like those are the names that like grandma might know. It's like, even if you're not into Pokemon, if you don't know who Pikachu is, like, I don't know, you've been living under a rock or what? Like, that is the most iconic yellow character of all time. Like, more so than, like, Homer Simpson or SpongeBob. Like, Pikachu is the yellow character. But, hey, we got all those cards all curled up now. So I can actually start gluing these bad boys together. Well, actually, hold on. I didn't curl this one. So, this one, as you notice, is uncut. And there is a reason for that, because this one is going to be our main card. It's going to be the center, the start of the rose. So I actually have to curl this one too. And I like to just do like, whoops, that flew right on my head. I like to do like a little gentle curl before I go for like any bigger curls. Cause like, it'll bend and crease if you don't. So like now I can go in, roll it up like a taquito, like that. And then I used to glue these together to make the core, but I found that the glue is like not, oh my god, hold on, delete, lock, go away. Hate those spam bots. Anyway, I used to glue these together, and the glue was just not strong enough for how tight the curl is on these. So I've converted to using tape, because you're not going to see the tape, because this is the center of the rose, and everything around it is going to be covering up where that tape is. So the thing that I hate about the tape, though, is I have to find the edge line. Oh, did I see it? Yes, it's right here. It's right here. This is where having nails helps. And I can get that tape going. Just like that. And then I'll just cut off small strips of it to use for sealing up the thing. Alright, so what I'll do, go through, I might use the paintbrush a little bit thicker edge. Get the tape, put it on the bottom of the card. Make sure the curl is nice and tight. Roll it up. And there we go. All donezoed. Nice little core to our rose. Perfect little core. Then what I'll do is, you can see there's a big empty spot there. That's where we take this one and do basically the exact same thing I just did, but on a even tighter scale, even tighter of a curl. This will give us that center that we're looking for. What are your favorite cards to work with, not in terms of look but feel? I assume they aren't exactly the same. They're pretty much the same. The thing about most TCG cards is they all are the like standard card size. So, like 3" by 2.5". The only cards that are different, I would say, are Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards are slightly smaller for some reason. I don't know why. So those ones, they're not as easy to work with because they're smaller. And the only other ones that are different are playing cards. So I've made playing card roses in the past, and they look really cool. The problem with playing cards is, and this might just be the brand I'm using, but I specifically chose this one because like the backs are nice and plain. They don't have big branding or anything on them. But at least with this specific type of playing cards that I got, the quality is really bad. So like obviously with Lorcana cards, which that's a bad example to hold this up, I guess, because it's like it's barely recognizable as a Lorcana card anymore because I've cut it up. The problem is that the quality on these are not great. So when you curl them, the paper on the edges of these cards can sometimes separate. And usually I glue them back together. It looks okay, but they're also super prone to creasing and not having like a very nice, curve. So these ones I would say are like the worst to work with. Yu-Gi-Oh! Next up from that, and then everything else is basically the same. Pokemon, Magic, One Piece, all those cards are nice to work with. It's just Yu-Gi-Oh! And playing cards that are a little more tricky, which again, I probably can use different playing cards and they might be better, but that brand of playing cards, not fun to work with. I don't know why. They're just really low quality for some reason. But, okay. So this one, I'm going to make the curl super, super tight so that we can fit it in the center of the original thing we made. And we finally get to break out our hot glue gun now that it's all actually warmed up. And hopefully I don't burn myself, because I often do burn myself using this hot glue gun because I'm silly and goofy and I burn myself all the time. But hopefully not today. And then we just stick it in there. Make sure that the glue attaches itself to the side of the rose there. But you see, now that's a nice little center there, and it's not as, like, open and boring and bland. You can literally feel the heat of the hot glue through the cards. Like, that's how hot the hot glue gun gets. Because I think my hot glue gun is a high temp glue gun. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it is. I think. Okay, I'm gonna need more tape, so, sorry for the noise of the tape. I say that and then it makes no noise. Are you kidding me? That's like the first time ever. You know, usually you like use this packing tape and it makes that like horrible, like, I don't know, high-pitched noise. Of course, when I say it's gonna do it, it doesn't do it. Because that's just how that works. Usually my audio quality is better, but I have to use a different mic today because my original mic does not reach over to where I am on this side of my desk. And I can't just move all my art supplies to the other side of my desk because my glue gun is very much fixed in place on this side of my desk, or at least the stand of it is. I put a command strip where the glue gun stand is so it wouldn't move. So, unfortunately, it must stay in place. So we're working with scraps today a little bit. But we can actually start gluing the actual petals down now that we have the core of the rose all done. The center petals I like to secure with glue and tape. I want to make everything I do, ow, hot. Yep, there it is. I'm burning myself. I want to make everything I make as high quality as possible. So I always use as much glue and tape as possible without it, you know, obviously looking bad. But I don't want these to fall apart. I want these to stay rigid. I want them to be, you know, foolproof. No damage if I smack it a little bit, you know? Because I am going to be selling these things. So if I'm selling something, it better actually be worth selling. And it's like, I don't want anything breaking on, like, if someone buys a rose from me and I don't want it to break on the drive home, you know? It's like, I want everything to be high quality. I don't actually mind that noise that much. See, I don't really mind the noise of, like, the tape makes. It's just really loud. So it's like, if you're wearing headphones, it might be annoying. Which is why I apologized for it, and then promptly figured out that the tape was gonna make me look like a fool, because it didn't actually make the noise. So, it's fine. It's all fun and good. Okay. You just hold each petal in place for a few seconds to make sure that the glue sticks. Get our piece of tape as an extra layer of security. Hold that petal down. Kind of shape them a little bit. Have a more rounded shape here. All right, 2 petals down. Tons more to go. I think I counted at one point. I think to make these roses, you need like 20 cards? Was it 20? Or 16? Something around there. Something around there. And then, of course, the mini roses take half as much cards, because to make the mini roses, I basically cut the card in half and then do the same process that I normally do, just miniaturized. Well, almost the same process. There's slight differences between the big roses and the small roses, but it's like, it's minimal. It's minimal. They use a few less petals just because they're smaller, but again, basically the same size. But yeah, I'm planning on making at least 8 roses before my market on Saturday. I have a market tomorrow, which I'm not going to have all 8 done before tomorrow. But the market tomorrow is not a TCG themed event, so I'm not expecting the roses to be my main seller. I do have other kinds of artwork that I sell. Some original art stickers and prints, which I have stickers on order that are not going to get here in time for my market, but you know, them's the breaks sometimes. Hopefully they'll get here in time for my market next week. But we'll see. I think they're shipping it from Connecticut, so it's still kind of all the way across the country from me. But again, hopefully they'll get here in a reasonable amount of time. And then what I like to do after we get these petals on, now that we're working on the bigger petals, I don't like to use tape anymore. I'll just go in with a little dot of hot glue just to secure the edges down. Kind of blow on the hot glue so it doesn't burn my fingers off when I do this. Yep, that was too hot. Didn't cool it down enough. Remember how I said I didn't want to burn myself today, chat? I burnt myself. I did done burn myself. My roses are a labor of blood, sweat, and tears and love, okay? A little pain goes into every artwork. Talking about selling, I'm not asking for myself, because I guess a rose wouldn't survive the trip to the other side of the planet, but do you do commissions? Like someone asking for a rose for a TCG? Yes, I do commissions. So, I do ship out orders. All of my orders I always pack with like bubble wrap and everything so that they do make the trip, because again, they're not super fragile. I make them to be pretty darn sturdy. They're not really gonna break. The only part that is breakable is this leaf, because it's like, you know, kind of jutting out, not really supported as much. So I've stopped adding this leaf onto orders because this is the only breakable part. And just leaving the rest of the rose the same. But I do ship out orders, and I do all kinds of TCGs, like I've mentioned. I have done, I think my latest one, because like the majority of what I do is Pokemon roses. I don't really get too many orders for other types of TCGs, but I did a rose not too long ago where I just took like a bunch of like common cards, right? But they wanted all evolutions. So that one was a bit tricky because some evolutions are a little bit harder to find than others. But they wanted all evolutions, and I actually did manage to find enough evolution cards to make a rose out of just bulk cards, mind you, not anything, not like expensive cards. Thankfully, I opened so much Pokemon that I just have tons and tons of bulk. Anytime that I get orders where people want specific cards that I don't have, I do have access to card shops, but it hasn't been too much of a problem for me to find cards, which I am thankful for. Especially with newer sets, because the newer sets have been pumping out cards of Pokemon that are super popular. In common varieties, which I have been thankful for, like Prismatic Evolutions has tons of evolutions, and then the 151 set has every single Pokemon from the original 151 in that set, which means, you know, a lot of popular Pokemon, Blastoise and Charizard and Gengar, Alakazam, all the super popular Pokemon. got reprinted in common card varieties, which is very nice for my business. Because yes, I do a lot of custom orders, and sometimes people ask for Pokemon that sometimes don't have common cards available. Hello, nice to see you online again. Trebcell, thank you. Welcome in. Glad you are here. Glad you are here. But yeah, I do all kinds of stuff, man. I do all kinds of stuff. I have a project I'm currently working on, just as a little personal project. I wanted to make a display for my Ponyta coin, and so I cut a hole in a Ponyta card to put the Ponyta coin in. But obviously it's not just gonna stay like that. So I have to cut holes in all the rest of these cards to make it thick enough to actually hold the coin. So that's a little personal project I've been working on. But I also do like hand-drawn illustrations of Pokemon. People will be like, hey, I want a Piplup drawn, and then I'll draw them Piplup, and then I'll give them a card of Piplup included with their order. So there's multiple ways I get rid of my bulk through artwork. I am also, I have a lot of different projects, but I'm also working on actually painting cards. These are just like bases that I've done, where I've just painted the white on these. But these are all cards that I'm planning on doing like full art paintings of original cards and making the artwork just the full card. And I kind of chose simpler artworks just as a test run, because I've never actually painted with acrylics. I mostly do digital art. I've never painted with acrylic before, so I'm like, well, I'll choose some simple cards. But one day we will do a stream of me actually doing actual painting, like IRL, taking a paintbrush, doing some painting. Like that will be a stream eventually. I just kind of want to do some test paintings before I do a stream like that, so I don't seem like I don't know what I'm doing. Because anytime you're working with a new medium that you've never tried before, it's, you know, there's going to be some trial and error. There's definitely trial and error when it comes to art. Trying not to burn myself. Don't burn me, hot glue! Please don't burn me. I'm nice. You don't want to hurt me, do you, hot glue? I think it wants to hurt me, chat. I wish there was a better type of glue I could use than hot glue, but hot glue is kind of just, it's kind of the way to go. I don't know what else to say. It's just the thing to use. Which kind of sucks, because hot glue, again, kind of hurts when you touch it prematurely, especially with a high temp hot glue gun. Do you see that? High temp? Yeah. Have you ever wanted a Vaporeon, Lopunny, or Gardevoir specific? You know, interestingly enough, no one has asked for those Pokemon. Interestingly enough. But I'm sure they're out there, and I'm sure they're gonna ask me one day. And you know, as long as they ask me to draw something safe for work, then I'm fine. Because it does suck. It does suck what has happened with Vaporeon and Gardevoir and all those Pokemon. Less so Lopunny, because I feel like that one was made for its purpose. Like, there's no way you can tell me that they didn't think of the consequences of their actions when they were making Lopunny. But, like, especially Vaporeon, it's like, why did this happen to Vaporeon? Why? It's just a cute little guy. Why have we done this to Vaporeon? I feel so bad. I do feel bad. I do feel bad. But, you know, people will goon over anything, I guess. That just be how the world is. Okay. We are making some good progress on this rose, though, guys. Making decent progress. Hot, 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 hot. Hot, 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 hot. Glue's freaking hot. Really hot glue. Really freaking hot. Okay, there we go. There we go. See? Progress. Progress. Progress has been made. What if their work is in the not safe for work business? Yes, Vaporeon looks humanoid enough. I mean, Vaporeon does not look human at all. It is a, like, fish. It is a fish. I mean, if you're into fish, that's something you gotta work out with yourself, but it is a fish. It's a head, 2 arms, 2 legs. I mean, does it have 2 arms, though? It can't have 4 legs. It has 4 legs. It has no arms. Exactly 0 arms. All I can think about when I think of Vaporeon is, like, the, like, copy pasta thing about, like, did you know Vaporeon's compatibility and blah, 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 blah. It's like, hey, can we maybe get a little bit more original? Can you guys think of something else? One of my favorite videos, actually, one of my favorite videos of all time, is the Markiplier Smash or Pass for Pokemon. Because, like, you can really see it in his eyes where he's like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? It's such a funny video, though. It's such a funny video. Because he's like, does this make me a furry if I say smash? And then he says smash anyway. It's funny. It's funny. There's actually a trainer in Scarlet and Violet that says, did you know, besides his Vapor? No! No, that's not real! That can't be real! That can't be real! I have to look into that now. I'm sure it is real, but I feel like it can't be real. So, someone at Niantic was very sneaky when they did that. They were very sneaky. They're like, no one's gonna notice this. No, none of the higher ups will notice. I can just put this in the game and no one will know. Reminds me of the manga panel where there's a guy unzipping his pants saying, cat works too. Oh no! Oh no! Man, the internet's so cringe. The internet be cringe. But you know what? I guess that's kind of the point. Like, the whole point of the internet is cringe. Because it's like, where else can you be cringe? You can't be cringe in person. People get mad at you. People be like, ew, you're cringe, stop. On the internet, though, internet, anything's possible. You do whatever you want on the internet, and it's like, yeah, people can tell you that's cringe, but you can just keep living your life, keep being cringe. Does not matter. We should rename the internet to the Cringernet. Would be more accurate of a name. I mean, the Cringernet, you know, I guess that's probably just like the name of 4chan, right? 4chan or Tumblr or, you know, one of those one of those weird sites where all the cringe people gather. Guess all that Vaporeon talk does make sense. The Pokemon company behind the video games, Game Freak, indeed. Like, listen, I'm saying they knew what they were doing with Vaporeon. Game Freak. Freak is in the name. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. There's no way they didn't know what they were doing. There's absolutely no way. There's absolutely no way. Especially with Lopunny's freaking mega. Are you kidding me? With the ripped thigh-high, like, leggings? You're kidding me. Yeah, see, someone else said it in chat. With the ripped leggings, with the mega. Yes. It's like they knew what they were doing. They know the Gooners are out there. They know it. It's the only reason Lopunny got a mega is for the Gooners. Which is gross, but it is what it is, and that's what it is. It was made for the Gooners. You can say Pokemon's a kid's game all you want, but you cannot deny the fact that the Gooners are out there. And they're working at Niantic and Game Freak. Yeah, because, like, see, I'm sorry, I did mix up the companies a little bit. I think Niantic when I think Pokemon sometimes, because Niantic's who does Pokemon Go. But Game Freak, they're the ones who do, like, the mainline game. So I should be saying Game Freak, not Niantic. Different companies. They all work on Pokemon, but different companies. Okay, 2 more petals to go. We are getting close to finished here. Getting close to finished. And you know, let's not exclude Disney from the conversation, because, you know, I am making a Disney Rose right now. They know what they're doing too. It's like, you cannot tell me that when they were making Robin Hood, that they didn't make that fox conventionally attractive. Like, you can't say that was an accident. That was not an accident at all. There's literally proof that the Disney animators are Gooners themselves. They have, like, vaults where they lock up the bad drawings, per se. It's like, you know they're Gooners. You know it. This world is built by Gooners, and it's depressing. But unfortunately, a fact of life. Unfortunately, how things go. Alright, I'm just gonna put some glue here at the bottom. Make sure all of these petals stay together. Blow on it to make it dry a little faster. The Disney Goon Safe, yeah. That's basically what it is. Basically what it is. Gen 5 with a couple female trainer having a watery cloister and her male partner having... Wait, is that real? They have a cloister and an onyx? Dude, that's so funny. Oh my god. Gen 5's like my favorite gen. How did I never see that? That is so funny. Oh my god. Again, you can say it's a kid's game all you want. They put stuff in there that only adults are gonna know. It's like how they have jokes in kids' movies too, where it's like a kid's not gonna understand that. Us adults, though, us adults are gonna catch that. Like, they know what they're doing. They know it. The damn gooners. Oh my god, funny stuff, funny stuff. It's like not in that kind of like alley. It's like Pokemon also just puts out some weird dark stuff. Like, you look at some of those Pokemon, like, Pokedex entries, there's some dark stuff in there. And then, like, in the manga, like, what is it, the Gen, like, 3 gym leaders, I think it is, get freaking crucified? Like, what is that all about? That is crazy. Can't remember what gen it is. I feel like it was Gen 3, but it might have been Gen 2 or 4. I can't remember. I can't remember. But the gym leaders do get crucified, and that's crazy. It's freaking wild. Alright, well. Hey, all the petals are glued onto our rose. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Now we just have to do the finishing touches, which I already have the stem all completed here from earlier before I started streaming, so we can just put the stem in the rose, which this stem is a little loose, but it'll be secured in by the leaves of the rose. Oh, the manga? Never read into it? Oh, yeah. No, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of things that Japan did with the manga, and even some of the TCG cards, where, like, you know, it was okay in Japan, but here got, yeah, nerfed or censored. Yes. That did happen, because there's a TCG card of Misty where she's literally naked, and they had to change that for the American release, because obviously that's not kid friendly. Yeah, in the banned episode, with James. Yes, I remember that as well. I do indeed remember that. Japan be wildin'. I think that's what it is. Japan just be wildin'. Japan just always wildin'. They always goonin'. Straight gooners. But yeah. There's a lot of examples that we could list, but the common denominator is their gooners. Like, that's the common denominator. Like, that's what it is. That's what it is. I think these leaves are nice and curled now. I can glue them to the main structure, and then we can have our very first rose all done here pretty soon. Pretty damn soon here. Which, you know, I've only been streaming how long? Yeah, about an hour. Yeah, about an hour. Remember how I said these roses take me about an hour to make? There's your proof. Been streaming for about an hour. And that's not including the time it took to cut all the things. Oof. A little burp there, sorry. Yeah, not including the time it took to cut all the shapes out. So, I mean, I guess I've been slowed down a little bit by interacting with chat, but still, each rose takes about an hour to make, which is why they're priced that way. Because, you know, sometimes I have people that come to my booth and they're like, $20? That seems like a lot. And it's like, it might seem like a lot if you don't know the value of artwork and the time it takes. Because, like, you know, if these take me about an hour to make, you would think I'm making $20 an hour. But you're also not considering the fact that, you know, the cards themselves cost money. The tape and the glue I'm using to make the roses, they also cost money. I pay to come and vend at these events. That also costs me money. The displays and all the other things, my marketing, all that costs money. So, it does not, I'm not making $20 an hour off these roses. That is not how the maths out. I charge what I charge to make enough money to justify selling my stuff. And if you don't have the money to buy my roses, that's fine. You know? To each their own, everyone's got their own budget, but you don't gotta be rude about it. It's basically... It's like, I feel like most people are very nice when they come up to my booths, but every once in a while, it's like I have to explain, like, all that stuff, and they still don't get it, and it's like, okay, well, okay, go away then. Thanks. About to hit midnight here? We taking leave for beds? Okay, yes, go sleep. I see, it is only, like, 3 o'clock where I am. 3 p.m., I should specify. So, yeah. If it's late, get some rests, get some sleeps. Sleep is good. I recommend sleep. But I hope you have a good night, and thanks for stopping by and chatting. I always appreciate some chatters to talk to while I make my art. That petal is glued on, or leaf, I should say. It's not a petal, because these are like the leaves of the rose. Put a little extra glue here. Get it nice and secured. I very much enjoy the glue gun I have now. I don't know, what brand of glue gun is this? Surebonder. It's like the only glue gun that does not like drip everywhere. It doesn't leave as many like little stringies. Like I like this brand of glue gun a lot. It's a very nice glue gun. Even though the high temp glue, you know, it does hurt me, but it does do its job. It's not the glue gun's fault that I'm burning myself. It's my own fault for not being careful enough. It's my own thing. Alright, last leaf and then we are done, chat! The last leaf. The very last leaf on the rose. There we go. She is done. Look at that. Looks very nice. Thank you, Trabcell. Thank you. You can see all the different characters. We got Donald, Tiana, Maleficent, Goofy, Tinkerbell. That is a very, very well-made little rose. I very much like that. This one came out very nice. Alright, well, 1 rose down, 7 more to go. definitely not doing all 7 today, chat, but we'll do a mini rose next. And we'll convert from Disney cards to Star Wars cards. I have actually never done a Star Wars rose before. This is going to be the first Star Wars rose I've ever made. So that'll be exciting. That'll be exciting, at least. But yeah, we got all the prominent characters, you know? Got Clone Troopers, Darth Maul, and Obi-Wan, Anakin, Padme. We got all the characters. We got all the characters. All the Star Wars characters. Now I have to do the exact same process I did for the big rose. Just mini. Just a mini. So let's start a curlin'. Yeah, I used to be more into Star Wars. Like, I used to watch it with my dad. And then, like, when the sequel movies came out, the first one I was like, oh, that was good. I liked that. The sequel was good. And then the other 2 movies came out of the sequels, and I was like, oh, never mind, it's not good. It's actually not good, and I regret saying it was good. It was not good. Because, you know, the first movie was like, okay, it's okay to use, like, the homages. You know, it's like, they got a homage to the old movies, that's fine. But, like, the next movies that came out after that, it's like, okay, yeah, we can do something else besides just a bigger Death Star. And they're like, oh ho ho. You know what's better than a bigger Death Star? 100 Death Stars. It's like, no, no, Star Wars, no. Why? Why would you do that? Why? And then Palpatine returns. Somehow. Like, oh my god. It's so lame. It's so lame. The Star Wars shows, I would say, were much better than the sequels. Like, Mandalorian was good. Ahsoka was okay. Andor was phenomenal. Andor was definitely the best of all of the, like, TV shows. But yeah, the movies, not so much. Except for Rogue One. Rogue One was very good. But that was not a sequel movie. That was a prequel. Kind of. I guess you would call it a prequel. I actually went to a Star Wars orchestra showing back in February, I think it was. They played Empire Strikes Back on a big screen, and then they had the orchestra, a live orchestra, playing all of the music from Star Wars live as the movie was playing, and that was really cool. That was very awesome. Because I'm a big music person. I was in marching band when I was in high school. If you're curious, I was on the drum line. But I love music, and I think Star Wars, especially the original trilogy, had like some of the best musical scores of a movie of all time. So seeing it live in concert was really good. It was really good. Speaking of Star Wars, did you know the music they play in the cantina is called a funny word? I did know. I did know about the funny name of the funny music. the jazz music that they play. It's alien jazz, so they give it a funny name. A different alien name. Funny joke. They do give it funny name. It's like they had to know. Again, it comes back to they had to know. They had to know what they were doing. There's no way they didn't know. I refuse to believe that they didn't know. Yeah, the jazz. Yeah, it's jazz. That's all it is. It's jazz. The saxophones and the jazz music. It's jazz. But yeah, I hope Star Wars eventually kind of comes back to what it was, not what it is now. Yeah. It's like let's go back to like what made Star Wars fun, which is not, oh, bigger Death Star. It's like no, it's like exploring like the politics and the world building and like different alien races and like you can have your moments of like action and adventure because obviously lightsaber battles are cool. Obviously lightsaber battles are cool. But you gotta like balance it with other interesting like world building stuff and not just the same world building stuff you've already established over and over and over and over again with the same group of people over and over and over again. It's like it's a whole universe. Explore it, maybe. Which is why Andor was so fun, because Andor was completely disconnected from the main story that Star Wars usually has about, the Skywalkers. So it was actually interesting. Well, I guess it's not completely disconnected from the story of the Skywalkers, because Andor is basically a prequel to Rogue One, and Rogue One is about the mission for, like, the rebellion, so it's not completely disconnected, but it, you guys know what I'm saying. You guys know what I'm saying. It's connected, but it's not connected, but it's connected, but it's not connected. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. They just need to do more Andor. More shows like Andor, please. Andor, best Disney Plus show of all time? Probably. Probably. Like, better than any of the Marvel shows, better than any of the other Disney shows. I don't think that's controversial. I don't think that's controversial to say that Andor is the best Disney Plus show ever made. I don't think that's controversial at all. I think that's just factual opinion. Factual fact, not even factual opinion, just factual facts. Factual facts. In my time, the Clone Wars, the 3D cartoon, was the latest best thing since toasted bread. Never watched it though. See, I didn't watch it either. My friend watched it, and she says it's really good. It just takes time for it to like really get into things. Cause like I watched the first couple episodes, alright? I gave it a chance. But that like first episode is like so slow. And like again, I'm sure it gets really good if you give it the chance. It just starts so agonizingly slow that I couldn't get into it. I couldn't get into it. Which again, I feel bad for because I've seen clips of like really good moments from the show. I know it gets good. I just don't want to put in the time commitment. This is also why I was hesitant to start watching One Piece. Because One Piece, even though I know it's good, is just a very big commitment. But rest assured, I am caught up on One Piece. Well, at least caught up with the anime. I don't read the manga. I probably should read the manga, but I don't, because I'm lazy. And I don't want to look up, like, online copies of it. And I don't want to purchase each volume, because that gets really expensive for something like One Piece. So I just wait for the anime episodes to come out. And I avoid spoilers as much as I can. Okay, so put this in here. Okay. What was I talking about? I got lost in a trance. I got lost in the sauce of making artwork. I was talking about Star Wars. I don't remember what else. I was talking about One Piece. Yeah, I'm caught up on the anime of One Piece. One Piece good. One Piece great. I don't know if there's anything else really to say. Then it's good. And if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. It's a big commitment, but a worthwhile one. Tape, do not stick to my scissors, please. That is annoying. Oh, you didn't cut through all the way, you bastard. Come on. Okay. You know, it's not a clean cut, but it's okay, because you're not going to see it. It's gonna be covered up. It's gonna be covered up. It's just fine. Alright, so, like with the big roses, the small roses are pretty much the exact same process, just with a few less petals, and they are smaller in size, which can make things a little tricky, just because you have less wiggle room when they're this small. But I think the small roses are very adorable, so I make them regardless of their challenges. I very much tried to use, you know, characters that people recognize for these roses, whether it comes to like Pokemon or Magic ones or Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever. The Star Wars ones were easy with that, because Star Wars ones, like, if you know Star Wars, you know Anakin, you know Padme, you know Darth Maul, like, it was very much easier to get recognizable characters for the Star Wars cards. There we go. Center of the rose all complete. I'll complete it. These smaller roses do go a bit faster. Not like a ton, but they do go a bit faster because there are less petals. So I do offer them at a lower rate than my bigger roses for that reason. Honestly, they don't really go that much faster. They go a little faster. Really fast enough to make much of a difference in time. These are actually interesting, the Star Wars cards, because some of the cards are double-sided. Because, like, usually with cards, you know, you got the front and you got the back. And the back is always the back. The back's always the same every time. Star Wars cards, not so much. They are double-sided sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. Which made it a little bit hard for me to figure out how I wanted to make these roses. Decide which side is like the front and which side's the back, you know, quote unquote front, quote unquote back. But in the end, I just was like, you know, the side with the character is the side that's gonna be facing outwards. That just makes sense to me. That just makes sense. So, doesn't matter really what's front and what's back. Wherever the character is, they're on the outside. Everything else, inside. I'm assuming with the Star Wars cards, there's like some kind of system of like, you have to flip it to like play it differently. But I don't know, because I don't play the Star Wars TCG. So don't ask. Don't ask me. Because I don't know. I barely play the Pokemon TCG. I can barely give advice on that. I can feel hot glue stringies on my hands. What a horrible feeling. It feels like little hair. You know, like when you like have like a piece of hair that's like attached to you. You can't see it though because it's so small, and you're like, where is it? That's what these hot glue stringies feel like. They're just very annoying. It's like, again, this glue does not produce tons of little stringies. This is a pretty good glue gun, and I think I got a technique down to reduce stringies. But the stringies do still happen. The stringies do indeed still happen. Joy Tens, hello, welcome in, welcome in. Nice to see more people in chat. We're working on making TCG Roses. This is a Star Wars one, but we just finished making a Disney one, which is cute. And we also have a Pokemon one as well. Okay, got those petals. I need to finish these petals. I need to make these all curved. Because if they're flat, they're not gonna go on the rose right. So I gotta curve them. Gotta get that curve. But yeah, if any of you are interested in roses, like I said, the big ones, they cost 20. The small ones, they cost 14. They are all up on my website, as well as all kinds of other shop goodies. So if you're interested in getting some TCG related art or even some original art, feel free to check out my website. I actually just updated my website like not that long ago, a couple days ago. Updated some of the products on there because I do have new stickers coming in, so I listed those so people can buy them for when they do come in, which I'm very excited for when they do come in. I'm really hoping they come out good because this is the first time I've ordered from this particular manufacturer. I used to print my stickers myself and then my printer broke. Which is another reason, hey, you should order from my website so I can buy a new printer. But yeah, hoping this sticker order comes out very good. Because I worked really hard on the designs for it. And some of you might know what the designs are because I streamed me actually drawing out all the designs. But I'm hoping they come out good. Very much hoping. I ordered, I think, 4 original designs and then 3 Pokemon designs. I think that's what it was. Yeah, 7 designs total. 7 designs, 20 stickers of each design. I figured I'd start with a smaller quantity just because they're new designs, so I don't know how well they're gonna sell. But you never know. You never know. They might sell very well, they might not. Kinda don't know what people want sometimes, so just gotta test out the waters. But I think this rose will be the last rose we make of the day. So once we're finished with this, we'll probably end stream. Just because, again, I can only stream so long. My fingers, they do need a break after a while from all the wear and tear of burning them with hot glue. They do need a break. So, but hey, we're gonna have 1 mini rose and 1 full-sized rose done. Like, that's, I think, good progress, right? I think it's good progress. It'll be good enough for my market tomorrow, at least. Because I was completely out of Star Wars and Lorcana roses. It's like, I don't know. Like, sometimes I feel like Pokemon is like my best-selling rose, and then other times, like, other TCGs sell way better. It really is kind of a... It feels random. Like, I think the Lorcana ones sell pretty well, and then the Magic the Gathering ones, they also sell pretty well. But I already have a few Magic the Gathering roses pre-prepared, so we don't have to make any of those right now. Thank goodness, because I already have enough things to make. I prepped a whole bunch of little mini canvases, or little mini pieces of paper. I don't know if you can call this a canvas. Basically, I took a giant sheet of paper and I cut it down into a lot of tiny sheets of paper so that I can make little custom drawings for people. And these are the exact same size as a TCG card. So, kind of works, you know? Kind of works for my business model. I draw a lot of Pokemon, but I also draw a lot of other stuff. I need another glue stick. Where are my... There they are. I need more glue. Oh, I'm dropping stuff. Oopsie. Oh man, I don't have a lot of glue sticks left. I gotta buy more glue sticks. I have like, what's this, 6? Yeah, 6 glue sticks left. That's not a lot. There's not a lot of glue sticks. That's where I get into the thing with the whole material cost. Is like each rose takes about, I don't know, half a glue stick maybe? So, you know, it all adds up. It all adds up. You know, actually, before I do this, I always forget that I like to flare the edges out a little bit on these cards for the petals on the outsides. It just helps them stick a little bit better. Having more of a flat surface for things to, for the petal to grab onto like the main body of the flower. It just helps. It just helps. I don't need to explain exactly the mechanics of it. It just helps. Just little tiny micro adjustments. There we go. There we go, there we go. Okay. Now we can glue on the outside petals. Now we can do it. Now we can do it. And now with our extra glue stick in, the glue, it's going to come out a little bit easier because we got more glue in there. That's how that works. And I always try to like push the glue out so that it doesn't come out the edges and burn me. Freaking burn the hell out of me. So, you know, there's skill, there's technique to what I'm doing. There's technique. I've probably made, if I were to give a rough estimate, probably over 100 roses of varying TCGs in various sizes. And not only do I make like these bigger roses, but I also make little flower hair clips as well. So there are also other types of flowers that I make. And I've made quite a few of those as well. So I have a lot of experience making flowers out of trading cards. The experience is there. I just am not as fast as I would like at making these. But there's only so fast you can go, I guess. It's like at some point, it's just like that. It takes as long as it takes to make. It's like crochet, you know. If you know anything about crochet, you know that it takes a long time to make anything out of crochet. No matter how good you are, there's only so much you can do to become faster. It's like you can get faster, but there's a limit. There's a limit of how fast you can be. Especially without losing quality, because like I could probably make these roses faster, but you know, at what cost? At the cost of losing some of the quality of my work. There'd be little mistakes. The petals wouldn't be evenly spaced. You might see glue poking out where it shouldn't poke out. Like, you would see those kinds of mistakes. And, you know, mistakes are gonna happen, but taking your time makes it so that you don't make as many. Which is nice. Yeah, this mini rose is definitely going way faster than the big rose. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely going faster. Which is nice, because it's about time for me to start making dinner anyway. So, it'll be about time to wrap up the stream soon. But not yet. We still got a little ways to go, but soon-ish. Soon-ish. This rose will be complete, and then the stream will be complete as well. Yep, that's my tummy rumbling. Oh, that's my tummy rumbling. What am I gonna make for dinner? What should I make for dinner, chat? I made soup like 2 nights ago. It was really good. I might make more soup. Soup, it's like soup season, you know? It's fall. Even though it's still like 100 degrees outside, it's technically fall. It's soup time. Time for soup. The question is, what kind of soup should I make? I can make chicken noodle soup, I make gnocchi soup, tomato soup. There's a lot of soup options. You can make chili, which is technically soup, even though people might not consider it soup. I think it's soup. I think it fits in the soup category. And chili's always good. Whether you're making like classical like chili or you're making like white chicken chili. Chili's good. Chili's good. It just reminds me of my stream yesterday where we were naming all of our Pokemon in the Quad Soul Link different types of Mexican food. And it's like, why did we do this? Now I'm so hungry. Why did we do this to ourselves? Because, boy, do I love Mexican food. Mexican food is probably the best food on this planet. Like enchiladas and tostadas and tacos and burritos, menudo, pozole. It's good stuff. It's just good stuff all around. There's no bad stuff. It's all good. Take that card there. That's the card we're going to use to make the stem of our rose, which I, for some reason, did not do before stream. I thought I did, but apparently not. So to make our stem, we just cut the card directly in half. Because if it's not cut in half, it's just like way too bulky. Cut in half. And then do the same thing we do for every other freaking part of this process. Roll it up. Roll it up, just like we're playing Katamari Damacy. Roll it up, roll it up. Keep rolling, rolling, rolling. There we go. Okay, so now I can take the tape. We can cut out a piece to size. Alright, here's some good tape ASMR, chat. Here's some good tape ASMR. Here we go. Oh, did you freaking... Oh, you freaking fricker. You freaked up. You freaked up. I have to fix that now. Stop. Actually... No! Oh! No, why are you splitting? I have to cut that off. Ah! So much for my tape ASMR. So much for that. Okay. Now... tape ASMR. Cut that. size. Let go. My job's not always easy, folks. Sometimes I struggle with tape. It's a real problem. A real problem for real people. Alright, and then we do the same thing we do. We roll it up. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Oh. But don't get off. Oh, it's all frickied. Oh, it's all frickied. Why are you frickied? Why did you... Why are you like this? That's fine. You won't see it. I'll cover it. You won't see it. Yeah, you won't see it. Okay. There was a little, I don't know if you guys could see, but there was a little wrinkle in the tape. But you're not going to see it because the stem is going to be in place. You won't see it. Alright, now we can add the leaves. The leaves are going to pull it all together, chat. They're going to pull it all together. Make this Star Wars rose finished and beautiful. You want to kind of put these on in a very specific order, though, so make sure that I can see what I'm doing here. Oops. Eventually, like, I would love to have it so that I have, like, when I display my roses, I display them, like, in a bouquet kind of fashion. I would love to have it so that instead of, like, mixing all the different TCGs in one bouquet, to have it so that, like, each TCG has their own bouquet. But that's a lot of work. That's, like, many, 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 many roses to make that. Because I think each bouquet is 7 roses on my table, on my display. So, 7 roses per TCG, which is Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Lorcana, Pokemon, Star Wars, One Piece. That's 6. Oh, and then playing cards at 7. Yeah, I think those 7 are the TCGs that I have right now. Obviously, there's more TCGs, and there's also, like, sports cards and stuff. There's MetaZoo and other TCGs that I can't think of off the top of my head. But I can't offer every single TCG, because that would be ridiculous. Like, there's a friggin' Squishmallows TCG, for God's sake. Like, I can't offer all of them. I just offer the ones that I can. I do what I can. I think this, for being my very first Star Wars Rose, I think this is gonna look very good. I think this is gonna look very good. I'm gonna add a little bit of support glue here. again, gotta make things quality. I don't want things breaking on accident. Got to get it to be good quality. See, and I think the roses in particular that I make, because I make a lot of stuff, like I said, but the roses in particular are such a good gift if you're like a nerd of any kind. Because it's like, it's a rose that never dies. It's like, if you give someone a TCG rose, like, it never dies. It's like, you can spend $20, $30 on a bouquet of real roses that are just gonna wilt and die, or you can spend money on a rose that will never die, and you can keep it forever. Isn't that better? Isn't that so much better? I think it's better. I think so. The whole, inspiration for these roses, outside of me trying to use my bulk cards for something rather than them just sitting in a box, was I made a rose for my boyfriend for Valentine's Day. Like, I don't know, like 4 years ago? So, that was the inspiration. And we still have that rose today. Which is not this rose. I made this one for myself. But I do have it. It's just not accessible to grab right now. Alright. Last little flower leaf, guys. Last leaf, last leaf. And then this rose is all freaking done. Here we go. Moment of truth. Will the rose look good now with the last leaf on it? Obviously, it's gonna look good. I mean, obviously. But, you know, gotta build the suspense, gotta build the tension. There we have it, guys. Look at that. Isn't that so pretty? I think that's very pretty. Obviously, I don't have, like, the best camera. I need to upgrade this camera. This one, I'm pointing at you, camera. I need to upgrade this camera because it's not super high definition. But that is a pretty damn good Star Wars rose, if I do say so myself. That looks good. So, hey, we got a Star Wars rose and a Disney rose. A jumbo and a mini rose done today. Pretty cool. Pretty freaking cool. You can see the, you know, the difference in size. Really, from top down, you really see it. Side by side, they're like almost the same height, but width, yeah, there's a big difference in size there. But yeah, I think that'll about wrap up our stream for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining. That was fun. I've never done the roses on stream like this before. You know, I've done all kinds of other kinds of artwork on stream, but I've never done the roses. So that was very fun. That was very fun. Now I do have tons of other roses that I have to do off camera, but I need to give my hands a break. So we will call it there for today. Also, I need to make dinner because I'm hungry. So, lots of reasons to end stream. But thank you all so much for watching. It was a very fun stream. I guess I'll do a little end of stream spiel before we go here. Make sure you drop a follow. Twitch, YouTube, and Picardo. I live stream on all 3 platforms. If you want to see any of my stream VODs, everything's all posted to YouTube. So, yeah. Twitch only saves so many of the VODs and then they delete them, but YouTube, everything is saved there. So if you want to watch any of my streams, put them on in the background while you're doing homework or whatever you're doing. My VODs are all on YouTube. Other than that, you can follow Blue Sky. I post my art mostly there, but also TikTok. Commissions are open if you're interested. We do obviously the roses, but I do all kinds of different stuff, so check out the website and the shop if you're interested in my original artwork. Also follow my alt account at GameLobby1337. I do gaming content on there, so you know, I don't just stream artwork but also gaming. Right now we are playing a quadruple Gen 5 Soul Link. We're playing Silk Song, and on Fridays we open Pokemon cards. So again, if you're interested in TCG stuff, I open Pokemon cards Friday nights, and we have a new set coming out this week, so it'll be extra interesting this week. But yeah, with that said, I guess I will bid you all adieu for the night, but thank you for joining, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye bye, guys. Why is my buttons not working? Okay, my stream deck doesn't work. That's fine. I can change the scene myself. Whatever. Alright. Bye, guys.